Become familiar with the persuasive speech, the one speech that you'll do in this class. Go over some of the directions, expectations, and then the rubric. It's 3 minutes. That's not very long for persuasive speech. If and when you take public speaking, or if you already have, you would know that a persuasive speech is usually 6 to 10 minutes. This is introductory to communication studies, and so practice doing that a little bit. All right, and so you can use any program to record it. You can do a YouTube video. You can use the system that Canvas has. One thing you make sure you don't do, and if you're an Apple user, be aware of this. This happens all the time. Don't use something that will record audio only. This happens all the time when students record with Apple devices and it comes in as a different type of file. It'll transfer the audio onto Canvas, but it won't do the visual. And so what it then does is ask those who aren't using an Apple device, I have a PC, to pay for a program to get the physical recording. And so be aware of that. The easiest thing to do is simply use Canvas's system, or YouTube works as well. And you'll see here, I'm going to come down here, the different ways you can do it. You can just put a link in, either a website URL or just put a link into the text box, media recording that Canvas allows you to do. Or if you save it on your own device, then upload it. All of those will work. So the things you need to do, pick a controversial issue. It can be serious or non-serious. And so the examples I have, you can pick something that people are hot-headed about, such as abortion, or something that's more frolicky and silly, such as if ghosts are real. Maybe that's not silly. It's a funny debate. Whatever it is, the point is to argue one side of an issue. Well, you only argue one side. We all know that everyone can argue both sides. The point of this speech is not for you to show that you're objective. The point is to practice making a specific case. So just pick one, all right, kind of a thing. It will not help the assessment of your grade if you do both. All right, pick one side. And I know as your grader that you're picking one and you could argue both. I already know that. 3 minutes, do these specific things. First, have an attention getter, and that's simply starting with a story or a quote. All right. Good speeches don't just jump right into the content in detail. Good stories start with some kind of anecdotal narrative experience or something that's catchy, such as a quote. This shouldn't take very long, 20 seconds for a 3 minute speech. Then you need to have 2 to 3 main points. You'll see the 2 or 3 main points when I went over the structures for outlines and structures for speeches. This will be the bulk of it. So if it's a 3 minute speech, you're probably looking at 2 to 2.5-ish minutes. Try to eat them equally, treat them equally. And so if you have 3 points, each of those would be 40 to 50 seconds each. And then close your speech similarly to your introduction with a clincher, a story or a quote. All right, leave something memorable is what that means. And again, that's rather brief. You need to make sure you use a natural speaking voice. Don't be reading. Use a variety of gestures, kind of a thing. They don't need to be constant. I'm not going to make sure you're doing constant gestures. If you use too many gestures, the audience starts focusing on your gestures, not your speech. And you've seen that. People that are talented at speaking, but my goodness, they don't ever stop with the gestures. And then make sure you have consistent eye contact with the camera, or at least looking straight ahead. All right, don't be looking down and reading. All right, so let's look at the rubric for a moment. So I have all of these things, 1 through 3, and then A through F in here for your assessment. All right, your attention getters were 2 points. All right, if it's present and understandable versus all the way of being absent. Main points is more points than any other part of it. All right, just making sure one side's argued, you meet the time requirement, you use reasoning, and you have a demonstration of evidence. That's 8 down to 0 points. So I click on each one of these according to how you did. The clincher, same thing as the attention getter. Is it there or is it not? 2, 1, or 0 points. Natural speaking voice. Evidently natural sounding, 2 points, or down to 0 points where it sounds like you're just reading. I can just tell you're going into a script. Gestures, frequently and varied, one more point versus absent, and the same thing with eye contact. Frequent versus absent. That's introduction to your persuasive speech. Remember, you need to record yourself. You can do your entire body with a camera catching you as if you were more in a classroom, or you can do this, kind of do chest. Don't do shoulders up, that's too tight, but mid-torso, chest kind of area to make sure. Look forward to watching these and hearing what you have to say.